flowers. Flowers. Flowers.
Would you care for one of my sandwiches, dear?
What's in them?
Nothing fancy. Just ham, you know, and some cold chicken.
I don't eat the flesh of animals.
Are you going far, dear?
London.
That's rather a long way to travel on your own, isn't it?
My mother put me on the train and my father's meeting me. We don't have to change, so I think I'll manage.
Perhaps if I took the chicken out and just leave the lettuce, you could eat a sandwich.
I'm afraid I don't eat white bread either.
Geh weg von mir. Nicht schnell, nicht schuldbewusst. Wir kennen uns nicht. Hm? Peter! Peter Warmington.
Yes.
Well, what are you doing in London?
Well, I might ask you the same question.
Business, people to see.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to butt in if you're with someone.
No, I'm quite alone, as you may easily observe. Shall we walk?
Yes.
So what are you doing in London? Shopping?
You know I'm on a sabbatical.
No, I didn't know. I mean, why should one know? What do we ignorant lawyers know of the affairs of the university? How long are you actually staying in London?
6 months. Gosh, I am glad to see you. When I write back to Tucker Queeper and tell them the first person I bumped into in London was Juan de Soto, they'll...
But they'd be amazed. I mean, they're bound to be.
Yes.
I mean, what a coincidence. My dear fellow, where are you staying?
Just along here.
An area like this must cost the earth.
Oh, it's not so expensive. Something to do with the Rent Act.
Oh.
People are very anxious to get tenants from abroad who have to go back there. There's no problem about getting them out again once they're in. Milk?
A black, no sugar.
I did buy milk. I only moved in yesterday, so I'm not really very organized. I stayed in a hotel for a few days. In the fridge.
Oh, you have a phone, I see.
It's cut off. Apparently the last tenant didn't pay the rent. It takes time to get reconnected. There's a phone box on the corner of the road. Coffee.
Thank you.
Shall we go into the living room?
Tell me, Peter, who actually knows you're here?
Oh, nobody much.
The landlord.
Oh, it was done through an agency.
Well, friends.
Not really.
Come now, Peter. You're not the cat who walks by himself.
Well, obviously I shall take up the threads a bit. Obviously I'll write a few letters.
Well, obviously. I mean, in your place, I should have written a few before I arrived.
Well, I don't have that many friends, actually. Not close friends. I'm not terribly good at personal relationships, as a matter of fact.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be inquisitive.
Oh, it's all right. It's just, I mean, like my marriage.
I don't think I've met your wife.
Oh, we're divorced. It didn't last long. I wasn't terribly good at it.
Please, I don't mean to pry.
No, I don't mind talking about it. It was 8 years ago. I was a bit broken up at the time, but time heals, you know. It felt like failure, you see, which it was. Anyway, most of our friends, they were more her friends than mine. I've never been any good at close personal relationships. Anyway, my parents were dead, so I looked for a job abroad after the divorce. It seemed the best idea at the time. And I am more confident now, you know, than I was.
My dear Peter, I do hope you're not going to be lonely.
Oh, no, I'm not.
I mean, you seemed, if I may say, almost disproportionately pleased to see me.
Well, a familiar face.
Of course.
Like finding a friend?
Yes, it must have been. Tell me, do you smoke?
No, I don't, thanks.
No, neither do I. Gadgets. Should have bought a drying up cloth, my dear fellow.
We'll soon be there, dear.
I have to wear this on my arm. Would you tie it for me, please?
By all means.
It's a means of recognition. My father hasn't seen me for 8 years. I was 2, so I don't suppose I shall recognise him either, even though he won't have changed as much as I have.
No, she's not a runaway. Definitely not a runaway. No, she's waiting for someone and they've not turned up yet.
How do you know?
Well, thanks. Because contrary to popular belief, runaways do not hang about at Euston or any other railway terminus waiting to be picked up by television reporters. They're straight off the train, away down the ditty like bloody lemmings.
Bitter.
Also, she's wearing a label, indicating that whoever's supposed to be meeting her won't recognise her. Look, why don't you go and have a word with her?
Right.
Well, she's been here 40 minutes. If it had been someone who's just been held up, they'd have phoned through by now. There'd have been a station announcement. No, something's gone wrong, I'd say. She feels that.
It's Juan. I know. I've been busy. I found somewhere. Somewhere for you, somewhere for me. A perfect hiding place until the job is over and a new identity thereafter. Have I done well?
Hello.
Hello.
What's the book?
The Private Life of the Rabbit.
We don't see many rabbits round here. You're waiting for someone?
My father's meeting me.
It's a bit late, isn't he? You've been here quite a time.
42 minutes, but Tina was 2 minutes early getting in.
Sounds as if we ought to try to find him. Would you like to come with me? We could have a bit of a talk and you could wash if you want to and have a cup of tea.
It's very kind of you, but I think I should stay here.
Why?
He doesn't know me, see? That's why I have to wear this. He'd be worried if I wasn't here.
He's so late by now, I'd be bound to go to the station master's office to inquire. Anyway, we can broadcast an announcement over the loudspeakers.
Yes, that's a good idea, I think. I wouldn't want him to miss me.
I'll take your case.
Thank you. I don't suppose you would have many rabbits in London. But there are foxes. They live on the rubbish.
Yeah? You hurt your leg?
I fell off my pony.
Ah.
Would you like a cup of tea? You must be hungry. Shall I see what I can find in the canteen?
I'm afraid there's rather a lot of things I don't eat.
Hard-boiled egg, apple, glass of milk?
Oh, yes, all those.
You sit yourself down.
Rachel Warmington.
It's my name, but it's my father's address, in case anything went wrong.
Yes, well, that's all right, Rachel. We'll sort it out. Now, do you want to, wash or anything?
I'm all right, thank you.
Hasn't your father got a phone?
He's come back from South America. At first he was in a hotel. Then he found a flat where I could come and stay. But he says the phone isn't connected. He had to phone my mother from a box, and she can't phone him at all.
It's strange that she didn't come with you.
They're divorced.
Ah.
She harbours no hard feelings, but she doesn't choose to see him again. She says it's all in the past.
But she let you...
My father and I have corresponded regularly ever since I was 7.
Letters?
Mainly about what I've been reading and my thoughts. I read a lot. You could say I've had a rather secluded upbringing, though of course I know a lot about life in the books I read. My father's interested in my intellectual development. He's a university lecturer. He wouldn't have come back to England at all if it wasn't for the opportunity of seeing me.
I see. Rachel, you haven't run away from home to be with your father.
My mother put me on the train and to stay 3 weeks and then may begin later when he goes to Oxford. She says I have a right to get to know my father, and I should.
Is your mother on the phone?
Yes, you can ask her if you like. I never tell lies.
Well, I think she ought to know what's happened, don't you?
Apple, hard-boiled egg, milk.
It's Strathbrook 343. I was going to phone her anyway to say I'd arrived safely, but I haven't done that yet, have I?
No, well, I'll have a word with her. Look, the station announcement will be coming through about now. Now, if you listen carefully, you may be able to hear it.
Gadgets.
I'm sorry, it's a bad
Here is
line.
a special announcement
It's
for
a
Mr.
bad
Peter
line. Can you speak?
Warmington,
Oh, thank you.
expecting to meet his
Yes, we've certainly not arrived here to meet her nor contact the station authorities in any way.
manager's office.
Look, under the circumstances, don't you feel it would be wise to send Rachel back to you under the care of the guard until... Yes, I quite understand that, madam, but she can hardly stay. Well, I'm bound to say, madam, that sending her unattended in the first place with no certainty that she'd be met... Yes, well, we all have our jobs to do, madam. We all have long-standing arrangements. Yes, I have the presumed address, as you say. I'll ask the local police station to try to locate Mr. Warmington, but if they should fail, then I've got no option. Yes, well, I'm glad you understand that. Now, please remain near the phone.
Here is a special
I shall contact you again
announcement
when we have
for
further
Mr.
information.
Peter Warmington, expecting to meet his daughter.
Flowers. Why else would he be buying flowers?
Please don't worry about me if there's anything you have to do. I should be quite all right reading my book.
Look, I phoned the police station near where your father's living, Rachel. They're sending someone round to see what's happened to her.
I expect my mother was rather cross. When she's made arrangements, she doesn't like them being interfered with.
Has your father never sent you a photo, Rachel?
Oh, yes.
Super.
It's Quetzalcoatl.
Is it? Yeah.
It's a mountain. There are lots of interesting local legends attached to it.
I'm sure there are, Rachel. Well, for purposes of identification, it does leave rather a lot to the imagination.
Mr. Peter Warmington?
Yes?
There's no name on the bell. I've had to try all the flats.
Well, I've only just moved in, do you see, yesterday. What can I do for you?
There's a little girl on Euston Station, sir. Says she's expecting you to meet her.
Rachel?
Yes, sir.
Oh, what a terrible thing. Waiting for me alone, you say? Oh, my God, how awful.
Were you not expecting the little girl then, sir?
Oh, of course I was. But tomorrow. I was sure it was tomorrow. Oh, what a dreadful mistake. Well, I'd better go and collect her, hadn't I? I'd better go straight away.
You are her father then, sir?
Of course I'm her father. I thought it was tomorrow. Oh, sure it was tomorrow. I'd no idea. Where did you say, Euston? Where is that? You see, I don't know London very well. I've been out of the country for a considerable time. I'm not really from London, you see. Gosh, Euston. I'm alone.
A taxi driver would know it, sir.
Taxi. Yes, you think I ought to take a taxi? Yes, I'll take a taxi and be there straight away.
If you'd make yourself known to British Transport Police on arrival, sir. You'll need some form of identification, of course.
Of course, of course.
A passport, driving license, something of that sort.
Yes, yes. Look, thank you very much, Constable. You're most kind. Look, I'll just collect a few things and ask your people to expect me right away. I'll grab a taxi and be there straight away.
Lecturer in the English language at the University of Topo Keepo.
Keepo.
Is that QU?
Yes.
Have you any identification, sir?
Ah, well, there's my passport, of course, but that's back at the flat. I'm afraid I didn't realize, yes. You mean Rachel herself doesn't know me by sight? Yes.
Driving license? Credit cards?
I don't drive, and I'm afraid I don't approve of credit.
Oh, that is a difficulty.
There is a letter, of course, from Rachel's mother, if that would do. It's addressed to me at the hotel where I've been staying. It's about Rachel, about her coming to stay with me. You're quite welcome to read it. There's nothing very private in it. My wife, Rachel's mother, and I ceased to have anything private to say to each other 8 years ago.
There's no mention of date and time of arrival, sir?
No, no. There seems to have been a nonsense about that, obviously, or I'd have been here.
But you were speaking to your wife, your ex-wife, Mrs. Warmington, only yesterday evening, as I understand it, sir.
Yes, yes, I was. Oh, dear, what a muddle. I'm sure it's my fault. I mean, I don't suppose she could have made the error. It's a very poor line, you know, to Scotland, and in a public telephone box, well, one has to keep putting money in, which is bound to cause confusion. I expect it was I. I'm afraid I've caused you a great deal of trouble. Where is Rachel?
Well, a colleague of mine is showing her the television monitoring system, sir. She takes a very lively interest. Can you bring Rachel in here now, please? Your letter, sir.
Oh, thank you. I feel quite nervous, I discover. It's been so long.
Ah, Rachel. Your father's arrived.
Hello, Rachel.
Hello.
I'm afraid I've made rather a muddle of things. I thought it was tomorrow. I'm terribly sorry.
Well, I was a bit worried, but I'm all right now.
Good. Well, the taxi is waiting. If... May I? It's Quetzalcoatl.
Ah.
Yes, it's a better picture of the mountain than it is of me, I'm afraid. Well, thank you very much. I suppose one doesn't tip the police.
No, sir.
No, in South America, of course, the police are bribed all the time. But I can quite see that wouldn't do on Euston Station. Well, thank you very much. Well, come along.
Please, may I know your name?
Molly. Molly Elphinston.
Thank you. I'll remember.
Come along, my dear.
I wonder why he took his glasses off to look at the photo.
Rachel, this is your new mother.
I'm afraid I have a mother already.
Stepmother. We were married just before I left Topo Chico.
Hello, Rachel.
Hello.
I didn't want to tell you in a letter, my dear. I wanted to wait until you could meet each other.
Well, it is rather a shock, but I'm sure I'll get used to it.
Do you wish me to prepare food? No doubt your little girl is hungry.
Perhaps you'd like to see your room, And, it's nearly 7. I don't know what time you have supper or go to bed.
I had a glass of milk and an apple at the police station, and a hard-boiled egg.
Oh, well then,
But I think I should like something. Mother was going to make me some sandwiches for the train, but she forgot. We usually have tea at 6 and I go to bed at 10. I expect you drink your tea out of little bowls with no milk. I don't mind trying that in the least.
Yes, your mother, very forgetful. Do you know, I think I forgot to buy any little bowls, my dear. Just make the tea in the pot as the English do,
I hope she's not annoyed.
Oh, not at you.
I promised Mother I'd let her know when I'd arrive safely. The sergeant at Euston did phone her,
Did he?
but I think she'd like me to phone as well.
Yes, but the phone here isn't working, Rachel.
There's a box at the end of the road. The one you phoned her from yesterday evening.
Yes, there is. Well, now, perhaps you'd like to see your room, And unpack and have a wash. And then Ayako will take you down to the telephone box at the corner to call your mother. Here we are. She's unpacking. Then she'll have a wash. And then you must take her down to the telephone at the corner to call her mother.
I?
You'll need 10-penny pieces. I'll give you a sufficiency.
I take her?
Ayako, she's expected to telephone. If I say I'll do it for her and I go out, but of course don't phone, the mother may become anxious and make inquiries. If I go with her, the mother may wish to speak to me, in which case I should be discovered. Therefore, you shall go with her.
She's too great a risk. You should get rid of her now, and we move out.
Oh, nice, Kitty.
I thought so.
Well brought up. It's the educational system.
What is?
In Scotland, the educational system. They're polite people, you see. Deuce, in a word.
Have you forgotten where most of the delinquent kids, most of the runaways, most of the...
Ah, but that's it, isn't it? That is it, exactly, Molly. The educational system in Scotland leads on the one hand to delinquency in the Gorbals, and on the other to the polite, articulate and biddable kiddie with whom we have just been dealing. It's what we call the rough with the smooth.
There are times I wish you'd never started with the Open University. I wonder why she asked me my name.
Eh? Oh, it's as I told you, she's a polite kiddie. She'll probably write you a thank you letter.
Perhaps.
I wonder why he took his glasses off to look at the photo.
Short sight. Probably doesn't use them for reading.
Perhaps.
Do you like a drink? Sexual equality these days. I can buy you a drink.
No, thanks, love. Doris gets nervous if I'm home late. And smelling of booze.
Police have finished with her. She's a closed case to them. They have found her father. Finished. Forget her.
She asked the woman policeman her name. There may be...
What? Nothing.
I don't know what. Something. A relationship.
You have no choice.
We have a choice. We should carry on with the charade for as long as the girl will believe I'm her father. If I can convince her of that, Ayako, she may be of immense use to us.
What use?
Mr. and Mrs. Peter Warmington and their daughter Rachel. It's perfect. Hessel will agree to that. It will amuse him. Ah, Rachel, anything you want?
Where's the bathroom?
It's right at the end of the corridor.
There's no meat or fish in these bags.
Then we may assume she doesn't eat them. Use the vegetables, make an omelette, anything. Yes, a family party. It defies suspicion. I mean, even if anyone should notice what I do, they'll not believe what they've seen. The wording on the invitation card will have to be changed to include her, of course.
And if she finds out?
Well, then clearly she must be disposed of. There are only 2 days to go, Ayako. One should be able to manage for that. I shall take her to the Victoria and Albert Museum. And to the zoo. And I shall tell her stories of South America.
You enjoy this.
Aye, aye. I think I shall take these off for a while. They're making my eyes hurt.
I do wish you wouldn't go so fast. I get this nervous indigestion. I'd value your advice.
I'm a sociologist and a little of nervous indigestion.
They told me you were a doctor.
Of philosophy. I'm a doctor of philosophy specializing in sociology and politics. Top belt.
It's Hessel. He's early. Rachel, my dear, I'm expecting someone who's arrived rather early. There's a colleague of mine from the university. It's only a professional matter, but I'm afraid I don't know how long he may stay. You've had a hard day, my dear, and much anxiety. I wonder...
Would you like me to go to bed early?
If that wouldn't disappoint you. I know it's a holiday.
May I read for now before turning out the light?
Of course.
We should answer the door at least.
I'll show him into the living room.
Do you want me to leave the rest of my salad? It's very good, but it takes me a long time to eat because I chew every mouthful 32 times.
No. Eat, eat. Take your time. Excuse me.
Warum dauert es so lang, bis du aufmachst?
Ein unvorhergesehenes Ereignis. Ich werde dir erklären.
Unser Freund hat die Einladung fertig gemacht. Jetzt braucht deinen Reispass.
Bitte schön. Hessel, etwas ist passiert. Ich muss dir erklären.
Please speak in English, if you wish me to understand.
I'm afraid I could say the same.
If not, I'll go back to the girl.
What girl?
It seems that our friend was expecting his daughter for a visit.
Then why?
I didn't tell you when I made contact because I didn't know it. I didn't know it until the police arrived not 2 hours ago.
Then why didn't you
Because
phone?
the telephone here isn't working.
The place?
It can be turned to advantage.
How?
Our friend here has the invitation card.
Wormold.
Hmm?
The name.
He has it.
I get very nervous when people keep calling me our friend. Particularly when our friend seems to be what you call anyone who has the misfortune to be in your way and gets killed.
Please, give him the card. It is work of great skill. Most admirable work from our friend, from the good Vermael.
Oh, yes. Oh, this is excellent. That's very good. Mr. and Mrs. Peter Warmington. Yes. Can you make another in the time?
Another?
Explain.
I told you the police arrived, surprising me, you understand? Seems the little girl was waiting on Euston Station, expecting to be met by her father. She's not seen him since she was 2 years old. She believes I am he. Naturally, if she should discover evidence to the contrary, well, she must be disposed of and may find somewhere else.
Disposed of?
Well, killed. Like our friend, her father, she would be an embarrassment.
But she's only a little girl.
In my country, Mr. Wormold, there are thousands of little girls who die in various miserable and often painful ways, and will, I'm afraid, continue to do so until the system which kills them is destroyed.
2 wrongs don't make a right. I mean, an innocent kid out
In
like
its
that.
purest form, terrorism kills always the innocent. By this means, the so-called democratic governments are provoked into countermeasures which reveal them as the fascists they really are. Therefore, we should kill her now and leave the body to be discovered after. It will be propaganda for us.
No.
No.
No. As long as I have a daughter, a 10-year-old British daughter, it strengthens my cover, adding the quality of innocence to the excellence of our friend, of Mr. Wormel's penmanship. Therefore, I need another invitation card. Mr. and Mrs. Peter Warmington and their daughter, Rachel. Now, I shall hang on to this in case we have the misfortune to lose Rachel after all. It would be... Come in. Hello, Rachel, my dear. Rachel, this is Professor Hassel, a colleague of mine from the university, and this is Mr. Wormald, my daughter, Rachel.
Hello.
How do you do?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I think I left my rabbit book.
Here.
Thank you. Good night.
Rachel, we've been invited to the Royal Garden Party in 2 days' time. Would you like to go?
Shall we see the Queen?
Oh, I don't know. There's bound to be rather a crush.
I shall need a new frock. Good night.
Good night.
Where is our friend, exactly?
Oh, he's in the cupboard at the end of the hall. For the moment of time we are to be here, he's unlikely to begin to stink.
She doesn't look much like your lady wife.
There's a pigeon made a nest in the ventilator of my room. I hope the cats don't get her.
Oh, not so high, surely.
Pussycat, pussycat, where have you been? I've been to London to see the Queen. Pussycat, pussycat, what did you there? I frightened the little mouse under the chair.
A poem? Good, Rachel. Did you write it yourself?
It's a nursery rhyme.
Oh, yes?
A little verse that the children recite. It's traditional. I'm sure you have something similar in Japan, my dear.
I don't know.
A lot of nursery rhymes are political. Like Frog Who Would the Woon Go. You told me about that in one of your letters. I expect Ayako will be interested.
Yes.
I'm sorry I'm not interested in the political verses of little children. Politics are for grown people, I think.
May I write a letter? I didn't bring any writing paper.
To your mother, of course.
To Miss Elphiston at the police in Euston.
Why?
She was kind to me. I should say thank you.
Did you not say thank you?
Ayako?
I think I should write a letter.
Of course. Of course you shall.
There's no necessity.
You once wrote to me, politeness is the expression of our respect of the separateness of other people. It's a quotation. I've remembered it. I don't mean to offend her.
She's not, you know, the wicked stepmother like in the fairy stories.
No? I've kept all your letters. I know bits of them by heart.
You've been very lonely.
Well, yes.
Rachel, I hope you haven't built me up into something that I'm not.
I stayed awake hours this last few weeks wondering what to call you. I mean, Father. It doesn't always come out in a sentence, but you've always signed your letters.
Your loving father?
And Dad, Daddy. I've not thought of you. I mean, Daddy's very little girlish, isn't it? But I expect we'll work something out.
I'm sure we shall.
I wish to speak in private.
Oh, very well, my dear. Would you excuse us, Rachel?
I'll do the washing up.
Good girl.
I will not bear it. This game.
It is only 2 days. I know it's difficult.
All the time watching. Watch the girl. Watch your tongue. Everything we say to think twice before we speak. Even a little verse, I cannot make a compliment. You have written her letters. How shall we know what has been said in these letters? Now she will write letters to the police at the railway station. It was finished with the police. Now it begins again. I am to take her to the telephone box. I am to buy her a dress and sleep in your bed.
Oh, very well, my dear. I'll take her to buy the dress.
I will not bear it. It is low. It is not political. I lose respect.
Well, I think you'll have to bear it, my dear. For it must be borne, you know.
Why? For safety? To get away?
To get in and to get away, yes.
We could get in before. That was the plan. We have the invitation. Thus we get in. It is so they will not suspect us. So we get out. You want the girl. You have said so. Why?
He who fights and runs away lives to fight another day. Now, that is also an English rhyme of political significance.
I do not wish to get away. I do not wish to walk with you.
Oh, I do not wish to work with you, Ayako, or share your bed with you since you choose to bring the matter up. At work, you are an amateur, I must tell you. And as for bed...
I wish to work with Oguchi.
You cannot work with Oguchi on this operation because Oguchi is known. He could not even get into the country, far less into the grounds of the royal palace. Oguchi is known. Most of your friends are known. Khalil, Clive, Wesley, Janosch, Amira, all known. Therefore, they're of no use to us. I am not known. And I intend to remain unknown because that way I can continue to work. You are not known, Ayako, because you've not been employed before. You are very small potatoes. And if I have my way, you'll not be employed again.
You will not have your way. I will work with Oguchi, with my own people. I will not work with cowards.
The orders are to get away. The organization will claim credit later.
Why do we do this mission? Think of first principles. To make a noise, attention, to make publicity, to make fear. No one is safe.
Right. There is a subject. We kill that subject in a most public and high place before everybody. We get away. No one is safe.
No, we must stay. Let them arrest us. There is a big trial. We speak. Everyone must listen. They send us to prison. That is nothing. 2 years later, our friends take some hostage and we are released. In prison, we may recruit more friends. It is nothing to wait in prison. We can make politics there. It is good.
Have you considered that some of the guards on duty may be armed and that we may actually lose
What harm? It is good to die. From my group, 2/3 were killed by ourselves for deviation.
Fürchte.
We must stay. We should not take just one rifle hidden. We should take machine guns. We should kill and kill. Oh, the rich ladies in their summer dresses and the lords in tall hats. Kill! It is a big war we fight. You make it small with your gadgets and your little lies.
Well, I think we may find some difficulty, my dear, in getting 2 machine guns past the gates.
Must be something for trying up.
Now, let's see whether you understand. First, when you are given orders, you will obey those orders. What will you obey?
My orders.
Your orders. And who gives you those orders, eh?
You.
Yes, yes. You must wait until I complete the question, Ayako, before you answer. Who gives you those orders?
You do.
And who obeys them?
I do.
I command, and you obey. And if Hassel?
I obey.
Yes, you will obey me, and you will obey Hassel. Because you are a very inexperienced girl, Ayako. And a very silly girl. And you're very privileged to be working on this operation. Do you understand that?
I understand.
Good. Do not offend again.